It was by accident that I stumbled upon a church website that claimed to sell Producer's Choice acoustic blankets. The website also offered a discount if I pre-ordered before the blankets were in stock. So I did. I paid around 800 euros, which is roughly the same in dollars. At least if we're talking real dollars. Did I actually get what I ordered? Or did they just send me bricks? Hello, how are you? So what did I order? I ordered sound blankets. They are available in two different designs. One that is black on both sides, and one that has a white side and a black side. The white side can double as a light reflector, and conversely the black as a light absorber. But of course light control isn't primarily why you should get acoustic blankets. It's to improve the acoustics of the room, hence the name. They can reduce the reverberation in the room or attenuate outside noise. The blankets come in different sizes. The ones I ordered are 2 by 2.4 meters, which is suitable for normal room height. But there are both smaller and larger blankets. There are even special blankets for covering doors and windows. The blanket has 8 grommets on one of the short sides. It's fairly thick and quite heavy, around 6 kilograms. That is the same as a fat cat. The blankets are even washable, although I think one of these would become quite heavy when wet and could probably destroy an ordinary household washing machine. So use your neighbor's machine. I also ordered a couple of stands that allow you to hang the blankets. The stand makes it possible to place the blanket almost anywhere. However, the stand has a fairly large footprint, so if the space is cramped, placement can be a challenge. The maximum height is about 2.6 meters. A nice feature of the stand is the flexible bar at the top, which for instance can be used to create a small booth. There was one thing I noticed though. On one of the stands, the second grommet and the hole wouldn't line properly. It turned out they placed a plastic stop on the wrong end. Yeah, we've all made that mistake. The stand has a pin that's prevented from collapsing if the screws aren't tightened enough. An additional tube with a 5/8 inch thread at the end is also included. This turns the stand into a 3 meter high microphone stand, or a light stand if you want. The stand comes complete with 8 S-hooks and a carrying bag, and if you order now you'll also receive... No, sorry, wrong channel. There are a couple of different places you can order from, for instance from the UK or the US. But if you live in the EU, those may be not the best options, as additional duties and taxes may incur. So the church website, which I guess is the official EU site, is a better option. Links are in the description. I could be unfair and say that the shipping cost was quite high. I paid around 100 euros, but then you have to remember that the total weight was about 56 kilograms. That is more than 9 fat cats. Now, please, I don't suggest you should put cats in boxes and send them around. Hey Schrödinger, I'm watching you. And besides, the delivery was split into 3 packages, which made it more manageable. So I would say the shipping cost is more than reasonable. If you write "can send me" in the vendor note field, you might get a discount. You most likely will not get a discount. In fact, you probably just confuse the person handling the order, and that might cause a delay. So don't write "can send me." Or, speaking of discounts, you usually get a discount when buying blankets and stands for a certain amount. You'll find the information in the shopping cart. I performed a simple test just to give you an idea of the blanket's sound damping capabilities. Please note that this is by no means a scientific analysis of the sound blanket's characteristics, and it has not been performed in a controlled environment with professional equipment. I simply played loud noise through a white speaker. No, I mean white noise through a loudspeaker. No, loudspeaker. And recorded the sound with and without the blanket between the microphone and the speaker. Here's the result according to Audacity's spectrum analyzer. The chart shows the sound level at different frequencies. The upper line is without a sound blanket and the lower line is with. Had everything been perfect, the upper line would have been straight throughout. But since the lower line seems to follow the upper, the reasons for the variation isn't that important. From 14,000 Hz, the sound level drops quite significantly, and therefore the performance of the sound blanket at high frequencies isn't that interesting. Here's the difference between the two lines, given the relative sound attenuation of the blanket. At the lower end of the spectrum, the sound blanket reduces noise less compared to the higher end. This is expected since high-frequency sounds don't travel through material as well as low-frequency sounds. Even though chart says somewhere between -5 and -10 decibels at the lower end, and -20 decibels or less at the higher end, it only applies to this particular case. A different setup or placement of the microphone and speaker will give a different result. For instance, the blanket will perform even better if it hangs pleated. I also tried to measure how well the blanket lessens reverberation. The upper line shows the sound level when white noise bounces off a hard surface, such as a wall or a tabletop. The lower line is white noise bounced off the sound blanket. This time the lines don't follow each other to the same extent, especially between 9,000 and 13,000 Hz. It's also obvious in the chart that shows the relative attenuation. I wouldn't be surprised if it's due to a flaw in my setup. Still, it's clear that the sound blanket has a positive effect on echo. I mean, it dampens the echo, which I guess is negative for the echo. Well, you know what I mean. The acoustics in this room are pretty bad. Apart from a couple of carpets, there's not much dampened sound. Here's how it sounds before and after. It's more or less noticeable depending on which microphone I use. Here's how it sounds without sound blankets. Here's how it sounds with sound blankets. Even though I think the acoustics have improved, the major difference is the decreased noise from the outside. The echo has decreased, but is still an issue, mainly because of this table and the ceiling above, which lacks acoustic treatment. If I do address the ceiling, there might be a video on sound panels, because if there's one thing the YouTube need, it's another sound panel video. But until then, thank you for watching.